Hello everyone, it's Caribbean E and Tina.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's just having a splendid and a wonderful day, and that your day is going good as mine, and that you're in the best of health.
Yes, and with this, you always know we say health being most important, so we hope that's the case. So today we're going to talk about summer travel plans. Things you may think about or need to think about before you book. So, if you don't mind, sir,
Take
my
it,
little
ma'am.
Kool-Aid.
I
I'm
sure
thirsty,
will.
but as we've seen on every airline site, tickets are being sold for all the usual vacation getaways. But is it real? Meaning, will the country have its borders open and be receiving tourists to this ticket you just bought
Right.
at a kill?
Still deal.
Right, with the motorcycles passing
Yeah,
us.
the motorcycle's going by.
So if anybody went online during the month of March, April and May, you saw a blackout, meaning that the airline was not selling tickets because obviously borders were closed,
Right.
right? So there was none available on sale on the websites. But if you looked in June, it started showing availability in seats.
Sure did.
So there are those who rushed to purchase and then received an email from the airline telling them that their flight had been canceled
Right.
and that they could receive a voucher. Some of you guys watching, it happened to you. So there's some things that you need to know and to remember. First, the DOT, the Department of Transportation in the U.S., has put into legislation an act called the Cash Refunds for Coronavirus Cancellation Act of 2020. That required American airline companies to refund cash, not just vouchers, if they canceled or if you felt it was unsafe to travel and you called to cancel or canceled online
Right.
due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So second, remember that you have to wait normally for the airline to cancel the flight. You can't cancel the flight yourself because they weren't giving any refund for that. But because of this legislation, it will cover the fact that you may not feel safe and have canceled during the pandemic, which is normally not covered, like I said. Third, they will always first offer you a refund voucher for the airline in an email, but that voucher is for future use. Usually then you'll normally, if you haven't responded to that, you'll get a second or a follow-up email. And that second email, remember how ours was for Spain? It said, oh, you can get this money on a voucher, plus if you stay with the money in our pockets, in our coffers, we'll give you an additional 10% when you book future. And they gave us like a year, and then they extended it another year, so we have 2 years, but at first it was a year. But if you go to the website, you can usually, because we did this for American Airlines, you can search on their website and their voucher and their refunds and everything. You'll see a small button that actually does tell you that if you want a cash refund to proceed here, and you click on that, and you can go and proceed to getting the cash refund.
Right.
Okay? But remember, you are by law guaranteed to be issued cash if that is what you choose. Don't let them tell you just because you don't see it or it's hard to maneuver that you're not. If you don't see it, if they give you a hard time, if they refuse the cash refund, call, mention the law that I stated, which again, it is the Cash Refunds for Coronavirus Cancellations Act of 2020, and you can receive your cash back.
Right, because this is law. You will get your money back.
Yes. But now, I think, on to the bigger problem.
Okay, bigger one. Here we go.
The bigger problem that people are not realizing. It boggles my mind, seriously. So I'm going to read this because, like, I couldn't even believe it. So I was reading in a Forbes article, that's what I was telling you about, remember? That it happened first in European countries and European airlines, but it's also happening in the USA.
Right.
And the reason that we're kind of touching on this, we've received a lot, haven't we?
A whole lot
of emails,
of
of messages, of subscribers, right, reaching out and telling us, look, I have this flight, or I think may have this flight because I bought this ticket, but who knows?
Right.
Can you tell me? First of all, he's not the President Medina.
Right.
I'm not President Medina. Wish I was, but I'm not.
Sure ain't.
So there's no way that I can tell you with certainty when, how, and where everything will open up.
Right.
Okay? But here's the thing. Airlines are deliberately selling tickets for future flights that they have no intention of operating because they have no idea what the state of the borders will be or whether a second wave will cause a reimposition of border closures.
Right.
And that's not only on our end, it's on you guys' end too.
That's right.
Because last time I checked, when we were going to go to San Diego,
Right.
it wasn't just our borders that would have, because they were letting us go. If we wanted to
Right.
go back to the U.S., we could have.
Right.
But it was the borders closed in the U.S. where we were like, we would never be able to return back here.
To this country.
Right. So
Dominican
all our
Republic.
stuff would literally just be sitting here and we wouldn't be living here.
Right.
So you have to always keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying?
Because you know what, when the border was closed here, American citizens had a certain amount of time
Right.
to leave the country, and make that flight, leave the country, and flee while they had a chance.
Right.
Those that desired to stay missed that window
And
they
got locked
stayed
in.
and
Yeah.
got locked in.
They say they were trapped, but I mean, if I was going to be trapped, I'd love to be trapped
I'll
here.
be trapped in paradise, so I'll be trapped in some crap hole somewhere.
Right.
Okay? I ain't doing it.
Right, but also remember the situations are different for every country. For every country. I don't live anywhere but the Dominican Republic, and I don't know until they give us the things, but everything's so rapidly evolving, it's going to make it very difficult, I think, for anyone to book far in advance.
Right.
I don't know how anyone could even think about booking travel in advance with everything just kind of honestly up in the air.
Up in the air, 'cause we don't know what's going to happen at any time.
Right.
We don't know.
But
we
hey,
just don't know.
you do you. That's what you want to do. But just remember these things when booking. This has been linked as a way to help the airlines' liquidity crisis because a lot of them are facing bankruptcy from a lack of cash on hand. So then that gets me to the big question. What was
Right.
that big bailout for?
Right. That $2 billion that went to American Airlines. And I heard they're going to start laying off in October of this year. $2 billion. Matter of fact, it was more than that. What you said, $10 billion?
Well, they awarded around $10 billion in funds.
In funds.
Would you like to read it?
You go ahead.
Okay. To commercial and general aviation airports by the Trump administration CARES Act. So if that bailout was given to big airport business, why are they still taking money from consumers and then refusing to give them the cash back and offering vouchers so that they can hold on to cash at hand?
Wow.
Why?
Wow.
If they got $10 billion, like where they need your measly, like, I don't know, 300, 500, 1,000, because we've seen some crazy prices for the DR.
Well, I can read between the lines and tell you what's really happening in the airline business industry. And it's not good right now. It is not good.
And more importantly, why are people, us, the consumers, willing to give them your hard-earned money? So I would love to know. If you would like to put it in the comments and underneath, go for it. Because the way I look at it is they get so much, they charge so much. Now you've got a vacation planned. You've put out the money. You've done your part. You've done your due diligence, right? You've paid for your trip. Your trip is in the books. And then they're like, not this month. Not next month. They didn't give you your money back.
Sure kept it.
You don't even have an Instagram photo of your trip yet. You have not even left the city you live in. So why are we so willing to just give them our hard-earned cash?
Right, absolutely.
And then I was like, that's why I asked you. I was like, are we that desperate to just dream about being on a tropical beach that we would just gamble the money away? Because I'm not willing to take that chance. Or is it, do we not educate ourselves by researching the border openings and accessing the pros and cons of possibly getting stuck?
Right.
Because you have some people that are stuck in certain countries. We had a viewer reach out to us just on another video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that said his brother, was stuck in Colombia for 3 months now. And Colombia ain't got they don't look like they're opening anytime soon. I'm just saying.
They sure don't. No time soon.
So do we just turn a blind eye to the greed and corruption of these airline companies.
Right.
What do you think? We just act like it's not happening? Just let them keep on taking the money?
I knew once they got the bailout, they got enough money to fill their coffers. But you know what? These airlines are in big, fat trouble, especially American Airlines.
But see, I don't even believe that. I don't believe it's trouble. I believe that they're just not able to pay their shareholders what they promised or what they thought they were going to make before this crisis hit.
Right.
So I'm sorry, shareholders. Instead of us getting $20 billion, we might only have like $10 billion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep having flights look like they're open. I'm going to get these gullible people who are not really looking into things to buy all these flights. And then I'm not going to give them their cash back. I'm going to give it to my shareholders. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah, and give them the vouchers.
Yeah. And then let's even look at what they tell us about the safety of the flights, right? Yes, they have cleaned airplanes.
Right.
They said they've given them a thorough cleaning, correct? You've seen like a million videos. I see you watching them all the time.
Right.
And they tell you that everything's clean since they're just as clean and squeaky clean as when they were first put on the runway when they were brand new planes.
Right.
So why doesn't that give somebody pause? Why don't you think about that and say, they tell us all the time that when we get off the plane, they clean it. So what you're saying now is you're not really cleaning it.
And that's not all that's happening. Tell them the rest of it. That's not all that's happening when you get on the plane.
The planes are not required by any means or stretch of the imagination to implement social distancing while you're on the plane. I know they promised it. I know it was a great idea. I know they lulled everybody into a false sense of security because of it.
Right.
It was great for a news or a, blurb in, on one of the news channels. That was great. But the reality of it is always going to be more butts in the seat mean more money.
Right. For the
They
airline.
cannot turn a profit with only a few patrons. They have to pack those planes to capacity. And if you looked very closely at some of the flights, you have 1, 2, and sometimes 3 stops. You have overnight stays in certain airports.
Right.
It's taken 2 and
Terrible.
3 days to get to a location. My son was booking a flight for his dad in New York to Vegas. It would have took 2 days, over 40 hours. Last time I checked, I could drive there and back for that amount of time.
I can jog there for that amount of time.
And still they were charging $1,000. And so you really have to do your due diligence, look at every little thing. Now they are requiring masks still on the plane, but as we've read and heard from the CDC, which I don't know who's not listening to Fauci at this point, but that doesn't eliminate the risk of transition. It kind of almost, I think, and this is my opinion, gives you a false sense of security. I'm glad they are utilizing them because whatever little we can do, we should do. But remember that it also, when you're packed in there, gives you that false sense of security that you really don't have.
Right, absolutely.
And also, if you've been advised to doing only essential travel, international travel, which is stated on some of the travel insurances. So let's rewind and now let's shift our gears to travel insurance. A lot of people are like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Here's the thing. Read it, read it, read it. Pay attention to the fine print, because the fine print is what can really mess you up.
Knock you off.
Disregarding the fact that they're advising you to only do essential international travel, and you not being able to either prove that or disregard it. Let me tell you. You have to, because if you have to prove that it was essential travel and your reasons for travel were not essential, you invalidate your travel insurance. Let me repeat that. You invalidate your travel insurance, which means if you fall ill, if you have an accident while you're on that vacation, boom, you open yourself up to being liable for hundreds of thousands in medical and other losses. And that's on you.
That's not good. That's not a good feeling going on vacation.
That's on you. So like I said, read the fine print before paying for these travel insurances, because they also have that travel insurance for tickets. And then you've seen people when the country has said, well, you got 2 or 3 days to get out of here if you want to leave. The person goes to the ticket counter, says, hey, I got to get back to the U.S. They said, well, you're not supposed to fly out for 5-10 days from now. All right, we can do the ticket change. Here's the difference. Now you owe us $700. The person didn't anticipate it. No, I have this insurance. And they're like, it doesn't cover that.
Right. And that's a bad spot to be in right now. And we suggested, the smart traveler, you might want to delay your plans a little bit until you read the fine print and make sure that you got get the big picture.
Right.
Because if not, could be a big problem. Because you know what? Airlines can sell you a ticket in a dream.
Yeah.
Especially if they're trying to get themselves out of
a better liquid state, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
With your cash.
Yeah. So also when you're at these, or preparing, I should say, so say you're saying, I don't care about any of this, I'm going.
Right.
Remember to arrive several, and I repeat, several, not one, not half hour, but several hours before your flight to deal with the social distancing lines, which have been kind of slowing things up.
Right.
Temperature checks. And also, there's been some cases, even though some people, and you only see 1 or 2, where they actually film where, TSA, it was a breeze. Remember that some have lengthy TSA lines because now TSA, because of the COVID virus, is like, I'm not touching nothing. You need to walk over here, bring this bag, open it up, take everything out. TSA looks, have you put everything back, and then you have to get to your gate on time. Right. So remember that when it comes to time. Timing is everything. You miss that, you miss it. And the way that these flights are leaving, you miss one, you're going to be waiting hours, maybe days for another one.
Yes,
they're not flying in the frequency that they were, which brings me back to the point that I mentioned earlier. There's like hours and hours difference where something that would have taken 6-hour flight. Now they're talking about, no, it's a 24-hour flight. And we've seen a lot of the flights that have been diverted, and they're sending you from Miami to Puerto Rico, San Juan to here, which that's insane.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But they're doing it. So I'm just saying.
They're using less planes because
and they want more people.
Yeah, and more people, less planes, more people, and that's like 30% of the airlines actually working right now. 30%, just like here, the bus is here.
Yeah.
30%. Every now and then I'll see a bus, because things have changed. People are afraid. People are fearful. Mm-hmm. But the airlines got something under their sleeve that they're doing. If you don't check it, they ain't gonna let you know. They will book as many flights as you pay for.
Exactly. That's key right there. As many as you guys keep paying for,
they'll book many flights. But when they don't know anything about the country that you're flying into, they didn't ask them was the borders open or closed or anything.
So that brings me to my next point. Before you arrive in other countries, make sure you know what the curfews are.
There you go.
Tell them what the curfew is here.
And the curfew here is 7 o'clock.
Monday through Saturday. Curfew begins at 7 p.m. till 5 a.m. On Sunday, curfew begins at 5 p.m. and it is until 5 a.m. Monday morning. So remember that. But every country is different because the curfews in Spain and in Colombia, everywhere is different. So look into any curfews. Look into what public transportation is available at that current time, because like here, it has changed.
Yes, it has.
Right? Look at their new hours and new routes, because everybody in every country, including us, is conforming to a new normal.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And business, as it was last time you visited, is not how it looks now. It's just not. We have been here almost a year and a half. And how things were running and going is not how it is now. And it's not expected anytime soon to run like it was.
Right.
So you have to know what's going on in the country, in the city that you're going to. That is imperative. Seriously. Pack washable masks because, like I said, here you are required at all times when you're in public. In your house is different. In your Airbnb is different. But at all times when you are outside of your 4 walls, you have to have a mask on. When you're in the stores, when you're in the bank, everything, you have to have a mask on. Restaurants, you say, I got to eat. Well, no restaurants are allowing you to eat in there. So you have to have your mask on. You're picking up your food or ordering your food, or you're having it delivered. And when the delivery people come, you have got to have a mask on when you go to get that delivery from that person.
And they gotta have a mask on too.
Yes. Oh, everybody's wearing masks. Hi. You have to pack your patience and understanding, or do like most of the informed people are doing, which is what I've been urging people. Opt out this summer. Say, look, I'm cool with this summer. I'm good. I'll wait till things are at least at a manageable condition where I know what, where, when, and how. And I'm not giving my money to an airline who is just taking it for their cash coffers.
Right. And not giving you back a thing, but just a voucher. And giving you a coulda, shoulda, woulda, and maybe...
Or making you fight for the cash.
Or making you fight for the cash back, you know, and put the law on it.
But you know what? I must say, American Airlines gave us our money with no problems.
Right, right.
Was it a few more clicks than normal? And was there I think there was maybe a 3 or 4 week wait to get the cash back, but we were in no hurry to get the cash back.
Right, going nowhere.
So if you're in a hurry to get your cash back, maybe you shouldn't have spent the money. That's why I say maybe you should think about it, because if you're putting out anywhere between $500 to $1,000 on a couple of tickets, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you're getting nothing for your return because you don't even know when you're going to use that. That's when you might say to yourself, you know what, maybe I want that cash back.
Right.
And you have to allow them time to process, because remember, you're not alone. Everybody's asking.
Everybody's trying to get their money back.
Just saying.
Now, this is another thing, Tina, I'm going to mention before we end this video. We're still in curfew, this country.
Right. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
And they put the smackdown down because some people are not taking the curfew serious.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times we get flights in here, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. If you get here during the curfew time, good luck trying to get out of the airport before the curfew's over.
Well, you won't.
Because you're going to sit right there with everybody else, social distancing, whether you're in the terminal or out of the terminal, until the curfew is over. You will not be going anywhere. The police, the government, soldiers will be there to make sure that you are in place until the curfew is over. If not,
5 a.m.
you will be arrested.
And then what are you going to do? What are you going to walk down the street? Because there's no cars.
No transportation.
They close off most of the highways, and they monitor the rest of the streets by just driving around. So there's absolutely no way that anybody's going to be able to come and pick you up.
Right.
Your family's not going to risk getting locked up. Friends aren't going to risk getting locked up. There's no taxi drivers. Nobody wakes up and hits that road until 5:00 a.m.
Absolutely.
Dominican time.
Absolutely.
So they can, like I said, they'll sell you $1 in a dream. They'll tell you all day long, oh, you're going to get there at 2 o'clock in the morning. You ain't going nowhere. Might as well take your time going through
immigration
and getting your bags, because you got a 3-hour wait, basically.
So we just want to give you this information because this is going to be vital to a lot of you that have already purchased your ticket ahead of time.
Or thinking about it.
Or thinking about it. Some of you have had your ticket since last year, okay? And things are changing fast as we think, because they got all kinds of deals and specials to draw a lot of people in, telling them this, telling them that. But you know what? The airlines can care less if the borders open and close, because it's not just in this country, it's a lot of other countries as well. So they playing a game because they're in trouble. Most of the airlines are in trouble, and they trying to figure out the way to keep your money, per se, giving it back to you. So just do your due diligence. Right. Check it out for yourself. Do your reading for yourself. We're just here not to scare you, but just kind of give you some good information.
Make you smarter.
And make you smarter.
That's right.
Okay.
More informed.
Save your money and more informed. And when you get where you're going, you'll feel better about where you're going.
Like I always say, it's your money. You do what you want. It's your gamble. It's your this. It's your that. But what I don't want is people calling or texting or emailing us or messaging us and saying, hey, we heard you said that we could come and we bought this ticket and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, I didn't tell you that. I ain't never.
So we're going to see what happens, because we getting a lot of information. A lot of people say, well, this is going to happen in July. That's going to happen in July. We still in June. We ain't even got to July yet.
Yeah, they haven't even decided if they're going to go into when they're going to go into phase 3. So
yeah. So we got to see what happens. But just keep your eye on your money when you deal with the airline, because they slick. And I'm telling you, them guys, man, they got a lot of money from the government, but it's still, obviously it wasn't enough.
Obviously.
And they got some games going. And if you don't be smart and wise,
unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's crazy. It's nuts. And they won't have no problem keeping your money.
You got that right.
Okay? And giving you a voucher for whenever time is available, and then making you stop in every state, and you be getting to your next destination 2 days later.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That ain't no
and
joke.
Charging you a lot.
And charging you a lot.
I've never seen, honestly, because I'm telling you guys this because I honestly got online and wanted to know for myself. Went on to American Airlines, remember that?
I remember the other day,
They tried charging. I was like, what if I were to send for one of the kids or whatever from Vegas to here? $3,000. I could not believe a round trip. I said for $3,000, I could go to Spain and back 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3
There's
times.
absolutely no way I would pay $3,000.
I can go to Italy. I can go to Greece. I can go to the freaking Philippines. You know what I'm saying? For that kind of money, that is ridiculous. And that's when you know you're getting ripped off.
Yeah, well, they're desperate for money.
Yeah, they're
and
desperate.
They're trying to weed out. Right now is the time that people are desperate. They're stir crazy, and they'll pay anything. I'm not that one. I hope you guys are smarter than that.
Yep. And one more thing. Make sure that you keep in mind there's no social distancing on these airlines, and they're not even required to do it.
Right.
You got to get on there, better make sure you got your hands covered. Make sure you got your mask on.
Sanitize everything.
Sanitize everything, because you're going to be cramped in and cramped like never before. Okay?
Always sit towards the front.
Right.
That way they say that you have less of the germs coming back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because remember, whatever wave the wind is shifting, they say it's like 3 rows in front of you and 3 rows behind you and to the side of you is your circle of where you can be infected. But with that, we end this video. Thank you guys for subscribing. Those of you who have not, which is about 40-some%, please hit subscribe. Remember, it's the fastest, easiest, free way to patron the channel. We appreciate you all. Hit notifications so you can be notified when we have more information. We have a few great videos coming you guys' way. So stay tuned for those this weekend.
And thank you guys for supporting the channel.
Yes.
You that have given, appreciate it. Much love.
Thank you
so very much. So, in the meantime, between the time, always remember, life is to be enjoyed. Peace.